What's good, folks? It's KnightmareFrame here with a new Warframe video. I'm coming at you with a top 10 must-have Warframes list. Now, these Warframes have amazing kits that makes gameplay diverse. They can all be taken anywhere and have great synergies with their abilities. Mind you, every frame is great in their own way, and you might enjoy something that others don't. And when it comes to a top 10 list, it's always going to reflect someone's opinion, since the types of game modes that I enjoy involve endurance runs and Eidolon hunts. Basically anything that requires having a smart and optimized loadout. So for newer players coming into the game and even intermediate ones that are getting through the game, these should definitely be the frames that you should aim towards. So starting off at number 10, Excalibur Umbra, the best melee warframe in the game. Why Umbra and not the normal Excalibur? It's because he is an overall upgrade to the normal variant, and you literally get him for free by just doing your quests. He has very straightforward and simple to understand abilities. His kit and his augments are all melee centric, and if you love swords, his passive grants him 10% attack speed and damage when wielding any form of sword, from one-handed, dual swords, nikanas, and rapiers. And he has one of the strongest ultimate abilities in the game, where it will have you cleaving through hordes of enemies like butter. Of course, this is possible when modded right. Excalibur Umbra is currently the only warframe to come with 3 umbral polarities to fit the 3 umbral mods, and I'm not sure if there'll be others. This makes him quite tanky for a DPS frame, especially for newer players who are still getting started. At number 9, Necros, the edgelord himself, the master of puppets. This is your go-to frame for resource farming. Some of you might argue that Korra and Hydroid are better, but Necros does not need an augment for that. And is that it? Heck no. He's a support and a tank. That also comes with an ability that provides extra resources. One of the best tanks actually. The ability to summon the dead to fight alongside you, and each enemy you kill provides you with pickups to keep you and your team alive. And he can also send a group of enemies running for their lives while stripping their armor in the process. He does pair up well with other loot frames to give you more resources, but he also does it well solo. When you can't be bothered looking for a squad, you can pop into any of those missions to get the things you're looking for, a frame that's needed by everyone. At number 8, Wukong. So he was one of the most bland frames till he got a massive makeover, making him a top tier frame, one of the best solo frames available. He comes with a well-rounded set of abilities that synergize so well with each other. He is so fast that he can be hard to control at times, but that is also what makes him very fun to play. Creating a copy of yourself that can fight alongside you, he has great self-sustain to heal himself and his twin if needed. He's able to grant himself immunity towards damage for a short duration. He can also stun enemies and open them up for finishers. He's also a damn good melee frame, viable for pretty much any type of mission. Oh yeah, let's also not forget, he can go invisible. I mean, come on Wukong, cut the bad guys some slack, they're already having a hard time killing you. And the fact that he can defy death 3 times is pretty awesome, especially when you done goofed. A good frame for those who want to play solo and also have someone to give them company. Moving on to number 7, Nova, the queen of explosions. This little girl is one of the best utility frames. You have great source of survivability and destruction. The ability to debuff an entire map, slowing down the enemies to a crawl, and killing one can cause a chain reaction explosion. All her abilities are usable and worthwhile. You want to nuke a map? Then yes, it can be done. You want to get enemies to hustle for a quick mission while nuking them at the same time? Oh yes, indeed, it can be done. If you want a speed frame that can get you to one point to the other in an instant, then look no further, cause if you blink, you will miss it. Who knew such destructive power could come from this little cute thing? Alright, at number 6, Frost, the go-to frame for a lot of peeps who just want to be lazy in defense missions. But what if I tell you he can go even further beyond? Alright, no surprise, all his abilities have to do with ice, but they do synergize with each other very well, and he has one of the best collection of augments in the game, taking his abilities to the next level. Frost is not only a defense frame, but an endgame frame that can protect his team and himself from any damage, can completely stop enemies dead in their tracks while stripping them of their armor, giving the bad guys a hard time to move in all the ice-covered floor, and oh yes, he's even able to hunt down Eidolons, something you would never think Frost could do. But yes, he is one versatile frame, great for solo and team play, a tank, support, and utility frame, perfect for those who want to try different things and get the job done while looking cool. Huh? Okay, I'm sorry. Now at number 5.
The Fairy King himself, Oberon.
The Jack of all trades is his tag. Pretty much everywhere you go, that's Oberon's thing, as he can literally do anything. He is a defensive and a utility support, a tank, a DPS, a crowd control frame. Like, goddamn, what can you not do? He can debuff the enemies while buffing the allies, cleanse status effects, heal the entire team, strip enemy armor, and let's not forget he can replace 3 different roles in the Eidolon hunts. Even though he can do all these things, he won't surpass frames that can do them better. He's just average at best, making him perfect for this number 5 spot. But this is a good frame for newer players to get, as it can help them learn different roles and build priority, as there are several ways to mod this frame. Moving on to number 4, Thick Boy Rino. This is your noob-friendly frame, everybody's second frame after they choose their starter frame. He is super easy to get and can help you so much in terms of survivability and damage. Charge to clear a path and move around faster, stomp to crowd control your enemies, making them unable to hit you, roar to buff you and your team's damage output, and iron skin for your defense. Everything you need to make the everyday gameplay as comfy as possible. His augments are what makes his builds unique and diverse, taking his basic abilities to the next level. His roar allows him to be one of the best weapon specialists in the game, dealing even more damage than you would normally do. Of course, there is Chroma or Mirage, but Chroma's build is very limited to what he can do and not have a diverse playstyle, and Mirage lacks the defenses and versatility, so Rino brings what those two can do all down to one package. And now at number 3, Nidus, the king of all tanks. He is by far the best tank in the game. Yes, there are others, but none can compete with this guy right here. The ability to completely ignore death. Oh yes, he brushes it off like nothing. It is damn impossible to kill this frame, unless you're bad or have no idea how to play Nidus or mod him with redirection, then it's understandable. All his abilities have the best synergy with one another. He can buff allies, increasing their power strength, allowing them to deal more damage or to spread more powerful buffs. He can heal himself and allies while damaging and crowd controlling his enemies, and he has scaling damage. He was clearly designed for endgame endurance runners and for people who want to face tank everything. Definitely not a frame that newer players can pick up right away, as his kit requires a good understanding of the game mechanics. Now, things are getting spicier. At number 2, Octavia, the best utility frame in the game. Boy, this girl can literally do it all. Well, except heal and armor strip. But she has infinite scaling damage, a great kit that revolves around sound and music. Seriously, one of the most intricate frames. She has great crowd control abilities that deal damage, can turn the entire team invisible while increasing their movement speed, your gun's multi-shot, and on top of that, when you make noise, it increases your weapon damage. Now you're thinking, why isn't she number 1? She does have her downsides though. She's super squishy. Best way to keep her alive is to divert enemy fire with your abilities and remain invisible. And to remain invisible, you need to learn how to tactical crouch. It's great exercise for your fingers, but the sad thing, quite a few people find that annoying to deal with. And again, definitely not a frame that new players can pick up, as modding her and knowing how her abilities function is key to playing her right. Cause using certain abilities in certain areas could end up killing you instead of the enemy or slowing down the mission. So decent game knowledge is needed to use this frame. Of course, before we get into the number 1 slot, let's take a look at the honorable mentions. Wisp, a great support utility frame that can buff the entire team with more health, fire rate, attack speed, movement speed. She can go invisible, crowd control, and debuff enemies so they take more damage. Nezha, a great tank and support. Picture him as a Rino and Wukong in one package. Fast, has damage reduction, can crowd control enemies, cleanse status effects, teleport across the map, and debuff enemies to take double damage. Gauss, another great solo frame. Fast, destructive, can strip enemy armor, crowd control, and increase his fire rate, reload speed, attack speed, melee damage, and deal AoE damage. Also reach 100% damage reduction. And now for the top spot. This goes to the queen herself, Saren, sitting at the top as the best DPS frame in the game, wielding various forms of toxin, stripping enemy armor, lowering their health, and have them corrode into nothingness. Massive room clearing capabilities, great scaling damage, as she can also boost her weapon damage, allowing you to run different different elements to even no elements on your weapons, as she herself is the corrosive projection aura. Quick note, it is the only aura that will hinder her abilities, so avoid using that particular aura. Her first ability alone is a disease that strips enemies of their armor and it spreads, dealing corrosive damage. She can set a decoy to divert enemy fire while she cleanses herself of any status effects, and as enemies focus their fire, the decoy will explode and deal toxin damage within the area. She also has the ability to stun enemies while reducing their health and damages them at the same time, destroying heavy units in a matter of seconds. A great endgame frame for any type of player. Just always remember to not run corrosive projection on Saren and avoid corrosive elements on your weapons. Alright folks, this is my top 10 list. I'm sorry if I didn't mention your favorite frame, but no worries. Your thoughts and opinions are always there to be heard. So if you think there should be a frame in this top 10 list that was not mentioned at all, do leave it in the comments section. Let me and others know who your top 10 frames are. Alright folks, this has been it for me. I do hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you did, feel free to leave a like, share, and
subscribe.
For more Warframe content, streams, and so much more, do refer to the description. Thanks for watching, and as always, peace.